Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti. So today's topic, power of positive living. Now when we talk about positive living, what is positive living? All of us, human beings, are nothing but bundle of energy. All of us are nothing but bundle of energy, physical energy, mental energy. And these energies, when they are not given direction, they dissipate. Isn't it? Our energies requires direction. Otherwise, our energies dissipate in the unproductive channels. Rather than being productive and peaceful, we become more and more disturbed and not so productive. So therefore, positive living is direction-driven living, focused living, channelizing our energy, focusing it on a higher purpose or a goal in life. Anything focused gathers power. Is it? When you focus sunlight, it burns the paper. When you focus wind, generates energy. So you need to focus your energy towards a higher direction. Otherwise, it gets simply dissipated, which is negative living. Many of us, we do not have a purpose. Isn't it? If you go and ask a cow which is walking on the road, where are you going? It will not answer. Cow will not answer, I'm going to listen to this lecture on power of positive living. A cow has no purpose in life, right? Predominantly governed by the senses. If the cow sees a little fodder on the other side of the road, the cow will try to cross the road to go and eat the fodder. Predominantly driven by the senses. Predominantly driven by the, sense gratification. That's about it. Whereas that should not be the case with human beings. Just cow, pio, jakaro. Is that what we are born for? What is the purpose? One needs to direct. Therefore, it is important to set a goal and function. There was a great archer who was supposed to have hit 100 out of 100 bullseye. Right? But he never participates in Olympics or anything. So one Olympic champion went to him and said, "Sir, I am an Olympic champion, but I don't hit 100 out of 100. But I am told you hit 100 out of 100. So I would like to know the technique. Please teach me." He said, "I'll teach you, but before that you need to promise me something." "What?" "Whatever I tell you, the secret, you don't tell anyone. You don't reveal it to others." He said, "Sure, 100%, I won't reveal it to others. Please tell me." He said, "See, the problem with you is, you shoot the target, then shoot. You draw the target and then shoot. Whereas I shoot and then draw the bullseye around it. This is how we are all living. Just mechanically living, existing. Not really asking this question, what is the purpose of life? We don't ask that question at all. Isn't it? We don't set a goal. Because only when you set a goal, when you set a direction, your actions become more powerful. Your life gathers power. Otherwise it loses power. If you see an elephant, a huge animal, and a very thin mahout sitting on top of the elephant, controlling that elephant. Especially in Kerala streets, the streets are so narrow. And when the elephant is walking, the elephant is going on swinging the trunk. And as the elephant is swinging the trunk, from one side of the road where the shops are there, where they're selling bananas, the elephant simply takes the banana and eats. The other side, another bunch of bananas. So the mahout, to control the swinging trunk, what does he do? He gives a stick to the elephant. He gives a stick to the elephant. The moment he gives a stick to the elephant's trunk straightens. Stops swinging this side and that side. Similarly, the mind that is going on oscillating this side and that side, propelled by our desires and thoughts, wavering mind, we need to give a goal, purpose. It is extremely important that we give a goal. Now, we do not know what goals to give, isn't it? So in the Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, a very interesting shloka is there. You can put it up in the board. You can see that there, having taken the bow, great weapon of the Upanishads, one should fix an arrow, indeed sharpened by spiritual practice. Having drawn it with mind absorbed in that alone, know, penetrate, O handsome one, that imperishable goal target. So he's saying you must take the bow, the great weapon of the Upanishads, and you should fix an arrow on the bow and sharpen the arrow with spiritual practice, then draw it backwards and absorb, release it so that it will go and penetrate the goal. That is what he said. In the next verse, this is verse number 3 and 4 of chapter 2, section 2, Mundaka Upanishad. In the next shloka, he says, Om is the bow. Om is the bow. Om is the bow in the sense, Shastras. You understand? Scriptures. Upanishads. The self indeed is the arrow. Meaning the individual is the arrow. So the arrow should be placed on the Upanishads, Shastras. And then Brahman, reality, is said to be the target, the goal. You fix a goal. Brahman, when you say it's the highest goal, whatever goal you can conceive of, something beyond your selfish, self-centered interest, you fix that as your goal. Right? And then, one with steadied mind, you need to follow the spiritual practices, what we call as sadhana, to steady the mind, and then knowing all this, you should become one with it. When you thereafter release the arrow, it will go and penetrate the target, becomes one with it. So, all he's trying to say is, we need to fix a goal, and where do we get the direction as to what goal to fix? We need to gain the knowledge. In Tamil, there is an excellent scripture called Tirukkural. In Tirukkural, the poet says, the sage says, Enni tuniga karmam, tunindapin ennuvam enbadu idippu. Means, you think and then plunge. That is the right way to go about. Don't plunge and say, let me think later on. I have no time to think now. You just go in and then think later on. So, Enni tuniga karmam, tunindapin ennuvam enbadu idippu. First, think, fix the goal, and then proceed. For that, you need to gain the knowledge. So you gain it from the Shastras. You gain it from the Shastras. Shastra means scripture, which means teach and protect. Teach and protect. See, we need some manual. Life is a very technical thing. Without manual, how to live? What is the manual for life? The Shastras are the manual. Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads. All these are the Shastras are the manual for life. When you buy the gadget from the market, it comes with a manual. Even if you buy an ointment, it comes with a manual with all different languages printed in it. Isn't it? So what is the manual for life? Shastras. What do? They give you wisdom and clarity. Shastras are nothing but wisdom drawn by the sages from their life and the observation of others' life over a period of time. Right? So when we learn and live our life, it will be inexpensive. Otherwise, if we say, I will live my life and then learn from mistakes, it will be the most expensive way of living. One fellow burnt both his ears and went to a doctor. And doctor said, "Hey, Baba, it is really bad, burnt very badly. How did you manage this? What happened, man?" He said, "Sir, I was ironing and a friend of mine called, and by mistake, instead of taking the mobile phone and answering, I took the iron and kept it there. That's how I burnt my right ears." Oh, he said, "My God, how did you manage to burn your left ear then?" He said, that idiot called me again. He is telling that fellow is an idiot. Is he an idiot or this fellow is an idiot? We don't even learn from mistakes. First of all, we try not to make mistakes. And even if we make mistakes, we have to learn from our mistakes, isn't it? We don't. So therefore, instead of living our life, making mistakes, and one or two people learning, idea should be, go to the Shastra, learn the scriptures, right? Study them, reflect on them, understand, set the goal, and then plunge. That's the right way to go. Draw the circle and then shoot. Don't shoot and then say, I will shoot. I will draw the circle later. That's not the way to live, isn't it? You've got to first fix the target. You've got to ask yourself, what is it? So here he's talking about Brahman, the highest goal, but not necessarily that all of us can, think of a highest goal. Whatever goal you can think of, something beyond your selfish, self-centered interest. You understand? You pitch that as your goal and then shoot the arrow. So Shastras give you the direction, what goal to set. That is what the Shastras do. So therefore he says, you must gain the Shastra. So therefore positive living is goal-driven living, not desire-ridden living. You understand? Go on fulfilling desire and adding more desires, go on fulfilling desire, adding more desires and getting agitated. There seems to be a lot of work done, but very little benefit. Instead of that, understand and then plunge. That is positive living. And when you approach Shastra, Shastra educates us that you as an individual is made up of a physical body, mind, intellect, enlivened by the self. You are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the intellect, you are the self. You refer to your body as my body. You refer to your mind as my mind. You refer to your intellect as my intellect. So when you say my body, my mind, my intellect, that means they belong to you. They are not you. They are your possessions. They are not you. You are the possessor. Then who are you? Shastra refers to that personality as Atma. Atma meaning the self. Right? And the same Atma pervades every being. So when you talk with reference to the entire universe, you use the word Brahman. When you talk with reference to the individual, you use the word Atma. Atma and Brahman means same. So what Shastra says is, ultimately your goal is to know thyself, that you are Atma and not this body, mind, intellect. That's the ultimate goal. We are not talking about that. You don't have to get worried about it. But at least you should fix a goal after gaining the knowledge and then proceed. So body, mind, intellect, through which you act. Now body by itself doesn't act. It is either propelled to act by the mind or by the intellect. Now what is mind, what is intellect? Both are thoughts. Both mind and intellect are thoughts. Then what is mind? Mind is indiscriminate thoughtful. Intellect is discriminate thoughtful. You understand? When the thoughts are indiscriminate, it is called as mind. When the thoughts are discriminate, they are called as intellect. Now you tell me whether your life should be governed, your action should be governed by indiscriminate thoughts or discriminate thoughts. Discriminate thoughts. But majority of the times, our life is governed by indiscriminate thoughts. Because we don't have time to sit and discriminate, think and then proceed. And everybody is running, let me also run. If I stop, think and then proceed, that fellow would have covered 10 kilometers more. I would be left behind. So therefore I don't have time. I have to run, I have to run, I have to run. Everybody is running without really thinking. So one needs to pause, ponder and plunge. That's positive living. That gives you power. You understand? You may think that by pausing I'm going to waste time. No. You see, if you are given a work, for example, to take a huge boulder from one place to 10 kilometers away, and you are given a team. Team A, Team B. There are two teams. They are given the same task. They have to take this boulder from here to another place which is 10 kilometers away. And they say, start. Whoever comes first will get X amount of awards or whatever money, etc. So one group starts immediately carrying without thinking. Other group spends some time thinking, deciding how to proceed, what equipments to use, etc., etc., and they do. Initially, if you see, the group which is not thinking is moving ahead. But slowly, the group that is paused, pondered and plunging would be overtaking them. Isn't it? So this is the thing. So positive living is about learning, thinking and proceeding, giving a direction. Otherwise it will be negative. Because if if we allow our indiscriminate thoughts to decide our life and then blame somebody or the other sitting up in the clouds. You understand? First of all, nobody is sitting up in the clouds. So Ramtita says, there is no one sitting up the clouds. If somebody is sitting up the clouds, poor fellow will catch cold. Isn't it? There is nobody sitting up the clouds. So we need to understand that our life is determined by our choices that we make. The choices. The first and foremost choice should be, I must choose to set a goal and live, and for that I must choose to study the Shastra, equip myself with the knowledge, then decide upon the goal and then plunge. The best time to study the Shastra is early hours of the day. To study the Shastra, the best time is 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. When we say that, it's not that you have to get up at 4 o'clock, maybe 5 o'clock or 5:30, you get up and spend half an hour for your mind and intellect. You are spending at least an hour for your body, going for a walk or yoga, etc. You can't spend half an hour for yourself, 45 minutes for yourself. You understand? So you've got to invest in yourself in the early hours of the day. In fact, I would say, if you want to lead a positive life, the early hours of the day, starting from 4 o'clock till about 8 or 8:30, you should give it to yourself only, not to anybody else. Is that being selfish? That is not being selfish. That is spending time for your self-interest. When you travel in the aircraft, they will announce in the beginning, isn't it? The safety precautions and all that. They say during emergency, oxygen mask will drop down. You help yourself first, then help others. Otherwise, as you are helping the others, you will choke and you will kill them also. So therefore, first you got to help yourself. So therefore, the early hours of the day, which is the most productive hours of human life, we need to invest in ourselves. So it could be from 4 a.m. to 8:30 or 5:30 to 8:30, whatever. First half an hour, 45 minutes, start dedicating the time for the mind and intellect. Then for the physical body, walk, jog, yoga, whatever, or sports. And then when you come back, shower and do little puja, have your breakfast and get on to your work. Then you see how productive you will become. So therefore, positive living starts early, ends early. Remember that. Positive living starts early, ends early. Why? Because Shastras tell us that every mind is made up of 3 temperaments called sattva, balance, serenity, calm, composed mindset. Rajas, passionate, desirous, restless, agitated mind. Right? And tamas, lazy, lethargic, inert, heedless to consequences. That sort of a mind. So all of us are made up of sattva, rajas and tamas. Similarly, outside time also, a particular set of time is conducive for sattva, growth of sattva. For example, early hours of the day, especially when you have gone to bed early, you have had good amount of sleep, when you wake up in the morning, your conscious desires have not sprung yet. So your mind is also cooperating, outside time is also helpful in developing your buddhi, intellect. Therefore, for the development of sattva, serene mind, early hours of the day, 4 to 6 a.m. is the best. And then from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. it is more conducive for activity. Right? And then any time after 6 p.m., anywhere in the world you see, slowly on all the indulgence activities start. You understand? All indulgence activity starts. So before you could plunge into those indulgences and dissipate your energy, you understand? You use that time to rest your body, go off to sleep. Are you with me? That is positive living. Waking up early, utilizing the time properly, and then going off to bed early. Right? That is positive living. Using the time properly. This also Shastra teaches us. And when you gain this knowledge from the Shastra, scriptures, you develop the clarity to live. Your mind doesn't wander into the past or future. You live in the moment. You live in the present moment. Past is dead and gone. Future is yet to be born. The only thing that is real is this present moment. But our mind keeps on going to the past and future. See, when somebody who is very close to you, in case, God forbid, something happens and the person dies, even though the person was very close to you. Now, it is just the corpse, isn't it? Body. Now, what do? Do you dispose it off early, as soon as possible, or you keep it for months and years? What do? You dispose it off as early as possible. You cremate it or bury it. You dispose it off as early as possible. But we keep all kinds of thoughts in our head. Isn't it? All kinds of thoughts. He did that to me. She did that to me. We are going on having those past thoughts. What is the use? So positive living is learning from the past. If at all you have to allow your mind to go to the past with your intellect's permission, it is to learn from the past. You understand? Not be worried about the past. By worrying about the past, nothing is going to happen. What is the point in worrying about spilt milk? You can do nothing about it. Right? But at the same time, not all your past are bad, or even if it is bad, some of them, they could teach you something, so you should learn from the past. Are you with me? Similarly, the unproductive mind, what it does is, it goes and becomes anxious about the future. That is another area in which your energy is getting dissipated. So, the buddhi that is fortified by the study of the scripture should be controlling the mind. You understand? It should be controlling the mind and not allow it to go to the future, except for planning. Except for planning for the future. Like we are having this event now. We've planned it well in advance, and then we have announced, we have done whatever we have to do. So that is how you do actions. Right? But when you plan for the future and you learn from the past, you do it in the present. That is positive living. But when your mind goes to the past on its own, worrying about it, and your mind goes to the future on its own, becoming anxious about it, then you are dissipating energy. That is negative living. Are you with me? So, all we are saying is, you have past memories, learn from them and move on. And you have future, you got to plan and proceed. But once you have planned, you should forget about it and simply do your actions. You understand? So, positive living is more process oriented than profit oriented. That doesn't mean people who are living positively are saying, all my profits, you please take it. They are not saying that. It's, of course, when you do an action, profit or loss is going to be the byproduct. Are you with me? So when the profit comes, obviously they're working, they'll take it. But while acting, their mind is not indulging in the profit. So it is more process oriented. It is very much in the present. There is power in the now. Yesterday's match, T20 match that happened between India and Australia. Most of you know the score now. But while you are watching, when they are going on comparing and showing, it's live. So there is life in it. Are you with me? So there is power only in the now. There is no power in the past or future. So when we talk about power of positive living, we got to maximize the present moment. While sitting here, while you're all sitting here, if your mind has wandered to the past and future, I won't say that you lived here for an hour. I would say you existed here for an hour. Right? In that maybe 20 minutes or half an hour you lived here. So this is how we are all living our life. If somebody lives for 100 years, technically speaking, he or she has not lived 100 years. First of all, 1/3 of our life we are sleeping, 8 hours in a day. Maybe winters a little bit more. Right? So, 9 hours. So, 8 hours in a day we sleep. So, 1/3 is gone. Straight away from 100, about 33 is gone. So, what is left over? In that also, if we are going on worrying about the past and future, we are not living positively. Therefore, we must understand the power of choice. Right? Choice presupposes knowledge. Are you with me? Our life should be governed by choices. In fact, when we understand the power of choice, then we stop blaming anybody outside. We take the ownership of our life upon ourselves. We stop blaming anybody else. You understand? So therefore he says, because our life is nothing but sigma choices. Please understand. You have chosen to come to this class. Having chosen, now you are bound by the consequence. You understand? You enjoy or you suffer, whatever be the consequence, you are bound by it because you have chosen. Please understand that. So there is power in conscious living. See, first of all, when we say life, 3 important ingredients are there in life. When you say life, there are 3 important ingredients. Number 1 is awareness. Only to the extent the awareness is existing, to that extent you can say you are alive. Isn't it? Awareness. And number 2, there is action. Action is the insignia of life. Inaction is death. Water in the river is constantly flowing. Isn't it? Therefore the water is fresh and you can produce electricity. Whereas water in a pond is stagnant. It gets putrefied. It's stagnant, it gets putrefied, it is no more useful. Isn't it? Therefore, when there is action, there is life. So we say action is the insignia of life. Inaction is death. You say there is a lot of life in Mumbai. Why? There is action. There is a lot of life in New York. Why? There is action. So therefore, another most important ingredient of life is action. And the third most important ingredient of life is growth, positive change. That is what we call as growth. The other is swelling. A lot of people think swelling is growth. Swelling is not growth. When you keep on aggrandizing more and more and more, you think you are growing. That is not growth. You can't go too much into details on growth and swelling, but I just want to leave you with this thought to ponder. You understand? So growth. When I see somebody at the age of 10, they are at a particular height. And after 3-4 years when I meet them, obviously I expect them that they should have grown a little bit. Isn't it? Physically also, mentally also. But when I see them, their physical height is also not really grown, nor have they grown mentally. Then I'll be a little bit seriously thinking, what is happening to this person? Isn't it? So when we say life, awareness, action, growth, all these 3 has to be there. So you will understand the power of the present moment, and in the present moment you got to act. Especially in this country, there is too much of discussion about action. We are also going to talk on Karma Yoga from 4th day after tomorrow. Isn't it? The excellence in action. The yoga of action. So much action is being discussed, but hardly any file moves here. करेंगे, देखेंगे, सोचेंगे, हो जाएगा. आप मान लो हो गया. What do you mean by मान लो हो गया? You have मैंने देखा नहीं, but हो जाएगा. हो गया. You चिंता मत करो, चाय पी लो, ये करो, वो करो. अरे यार, कुछ काम तो करो. That is why, Swamiji has written a book called Vedanta Treatise, the Eternities. It's there in the outside publication counter. He took about 20 years to write this book. 20 years. He says that there's nothing in the book is mine. All he has done is, he has nicely put the message in the Shastras in modern language and thought. contemporary thought and language. The entire Vedanta has been beautifully summarized there. He moves from the known to the unknown. First part, he has written it in 3 parts. First part is called Introduction to Vedanta. The middle part is called Practical Vedanta, part B. And part C is called Essence of Vedanta. The real Vedanta is there. In 3 parts, beautifully following the fundamental principle of education, which is to move from the known to the unknown. In that book, the 5th chapter is called Exigency of Action. Do you know what is the meaning of the word exigency? What is the meaning of the word exigency? Immediate. Emergency. There is an emergency to act because too much thinking chal raha hai. Soch rahe, But काम ही नहीं करना. In the present you got to act. Enough of thinking. Well, thinking is important before acting. One needs to act as well. That's why Swami Vivekananda got fed up and said, go play football. He is from West Bengal. You understand? So he said, go and play football. Enough. Be active. You got to translate the education into action. You learn and then direct your energy and convert that into proper action. Otherwise you are wasting your time. Are you with me? So therefore, we need to act in the present. There is power in action. There is power in choice. There is power in the present moment now. And there is power in action. If you see a centipede has 100 feet. But it very slowly moves. So like that, many of us have too many ideas. Especially when we want to do a program or something, we seek opinion from others, especially if I have to do something in Chandigarh, my colleague is organizing. So obviously will ask people here, right? So too many ideas are given. But when it comes to implementation, nobody is there. But there is power only in execution. See, when you saw the World Cup final, right? India versus Australia. It's okay. We played very well all the 10 matches. We didn't win the finals. That's fine. You understand? But what is interesting is all the commentators were talking about Australia's preparation, homework and execution. I don't know whether you noticed. They talked about Australia's preparation and execution. They were very well prepared. They did their homework and they executed it. That is very important. You can prepare, you can do your homework, but if you don't execute them, you understand? There is power in the action. You must understand that. That's why Swamiji wrote exigency in action. How to act. Why you should act. How to act. What are the impediments that will come to the actions. How to overcome those impediments. That is Karma Yoga, which we will do on the 4th, day after tomorrow onwards. So therefore, action, when you say, what kind of action? How it can become beneficial? There are 3 types of action. They are selfish, unselfish, selfless. Selfish, unselfish, selfless. 3 types of action. You can see it on the board. Selfish action is where majority of us are functioning. Selfishly. What I will get, what I can get, all the time. So when your mind is selfish, it doesn't generate energy. It dissipates energy. It may seem that you are running and you are productive, but you will end up only swelling, not growing. See, growth is positive living. Swelling is not positive living. It appears that you are moving, but you are not growing. There's tremendous difference between moving and growing, swelling and growing. Are you with me? So selfishness. The next one is unselfish. Identifying with a larger circle and functioning. Unselfish. There your mind is relatively peaceful. A selfish mind is constantly disturbed. A destructive mind which is constantly thinking about taking. See, there is a very interesting poem. Again, Swamiji has not written any poetry, but what he has done is, he's collected few poems from the West, Western authors, Western poets, and he has given commentary on it. Philosophical commentary on the poetry. The book is called as Select English Poem. That is also available there. And in that, the very first poem is Turkey and the Ant. The poet says, Turkey, tired of common food, forsook the barn and sought the wood. Behind her ran an infant train, collecting here and there a grain. There's a mother bird, Turkey, fed up of eating the same food every day. Mother bird was moving, eating the grain. Behind, the infants were moving and they were also eating the grain. And the turkey is fed up. Same dal chawal every day. Same grain every day. So needs variety. Mind seeks variety, no? So the turkey bird is seeking variety. So the mother bird is moving towards the ant to eat the ants. Black ants. The young ones are scared, looking at the ants because grain doesn't move. The black ants are moving. So the young ones are scared, they are not eating. Then immediately the mother bird says, fear not, with freedom eat, for an ant is a delicious meat. It is very tasty, Baba. You must try it. It is superb. You must eat it. So the mother bird is encouraging the young ones to eat. They are all eating a nation of ants for breakfast. Nation of ants for breakfast. I don't know what about lunch and dinner. Must be 2-3 nations put together. Right? And then, as the turkey is eating ants, complaining about human beings eating turkey on Christmas Eve. One turkey probably is eaten by 6 or 8 fellows, unless somebody from WWF or something. I don't know how much they eat. But normally, maybe 6 or 8 people share a turkey once in a year, and that turkey is complaining about that. While the turkey is devouring mountain of ants for breakfast. Are you with me? So the poet says, ere you remark another sin, bid thine own conscience look within. Control thy more voracious bill, nor for a breakfast nation's kill. For a breakfast you are killing nation, and you are talking about such a small blemish of a human being. So the selfish mind, which is constantly taking, which is constantly only thinking about itself, is constantly disturbed. When your mind is disturbed, you can't think properly. When you can't think properly, you cannot act properly. When you can't act properly, you will not be successful. And success will bring more agitation. You will be caught up in a vicious cycle, which is negative living. Therefore, you got to be unselfish. Are you with me? And unselfishness also, there is a little desire, I should do something for others. To that extent, there will be little disturbance. If you move from there to selflessness, there is no desire whatsoever. There is only obligation and gratitude driving your actions. In that kind of action, you will be more productive, more dynamic, more peaceful, and you will be bringing about harmony externally. Therefore, you must learn this. Shastras teach you these things. In fact, tomorrow we are going to be talking on the impeccable laws of life. Our life is determined by laws. We need to understand that. Are you with me? That's what we'll be talking about. That's what the Shastra teaches us. So you understand that this is what happens when you are selfish. This is what happens when you are unselfish. This is what happens when you are selfless. With the knowledge, you keep moving from selfish to unselfish to selfless. And you will have a higher goal and plunging. The greater the goal, the greater the energy. It doesn't matter what age you are. In the movie theaters, they used to show these documentaries. Nowadays, it's all available on the YouTube and everywhere. Those days, you see Mahatma Gandhi during freedom struggle marching. I don't know what age he was, definitely more than 60, 65. And walking so fast. From where is he getting that energy at that age? My Guru, Swamiji, our Guru, is now 97 years old. From where is he getting energy? Even today, he lectures and it is put on YouTube, etc. From where is such a person getting energy at the age of 97? The higher the goal, the greater the energy. When I watch these cricket matches or any sports in the TV, sometimes they show these advertisements, especially during Diwali and all that. During Diwali and all, you keep giving gifts to others, no? So, in one advertisement, the mother is giving gift to the son. And it's beautifully wrapped, packed. So the son is very eager and he is opening the gift to see what is inside. And so much paper is coming out, and inside one very small mobile phone is there. That old model, That old model mobile phone, small one is there. Then he looks at it and gets disappointed and says, Mama, thoda bada socho. You understand? Thoda bada socho. तो आपका सोच थोड़ा बड़ा होना चाहिए, थोड़ा नहीं ज्यादा होना चाहिए. You understand? The greater the goal, the greater the energy. Please understand. The lesser the goal, the lesser you are thinking, hardly any energy. One fellow came to meet Swamiji. He is so disturbed, I believe. In his life, in business, everything was a failure. He was fed up. And then he said, Swamiji, I want to meet you, my guru. So he lives in Mumbai. So he took his appointment many years ago. He took his appointment and he went and said, Swamiji, ye theek nahi hai, wo theek. He's a very negative thinking person. Ye theek nahi hai, wo theek nahi hai, what to do? Swamiji, business is down, people are very bad, ye hota nahi, etc., complaining, and I don't have any energy to do anything. I feel like committing suicide. 2-3 times he said that. Swamiji has been going on listening to this fellow so negative. He said, yeah, what's the point? So let us also play with him. He said, okay, you contemplating suicide, why don't you commit suicide? So he said, Swamiji, I don't have energy for committing suicide. And he says, you are such an energetic person, please lend me some energy to commit suicide. That is what he asked, it seems. See, in other words, the higher the goal, the greater the energy. That is positive living. There is power in it. And if you are complaining about lack of energy while you are young, that means your soch vichar is not good. Something very selfish. All the time only thinking about yourself, nothing more. You understand? So therefore, we need to understand our actions, and all our actions are done at the physical level. Right? And that is at the gross level. But at the subtler level, there are thoughts when you are doing action. Even when I am doing an action now, there are thoughts supporting my actions. And these thoughts are very important. We don't have time to think about our thoughts whatsoever. We are more concerned about what other people are thinking about us. What is he thinking about me? What is she thinking about me? Rather than what my thoughts are. Please understand, our actions and thoughts determine our destiny. Not somebody sitting up the clouds. Not the stars. People go to the astrologers and they, this time very bad. Next 3 months, stars thoda gadbad kar raha. You have to put up with Rahu, Ketu and all these people. Then they will be supportive to you after 3 months. So 3 months kya karenge? I'll book tickets and go to some other country and enjoy my life. Spa. This is how people are living. What we need to understand is our life is determined by our choices, our actions, our thoughts. Nobody else. We keep on blaming somebody or the other. It's our thoughts. We are full of thoughts. You understand? And it is the resultant of thoughts. What happens in your life is that, you think this is happening to me because of my thoughts? I never thought anything negative like this. No, you have so many other thoughts. See, we all love gossip sessions, isn't it? Something that happens in Chandigarh. I may be living in Sector 8, but somewhere in the border of Mohali, or even what happens in Mohali, I should know. Nothing should escape my mind. I want to know everything. Because it's very entertaining. It gives pleasure while I'm listening to the gossips. Especially it's about somebody else. Isn't it? It's not about you, obviously. So it's entertaining. So what do? You put all those thoughts in your mind. Having put all the thoughts in your mind, you don't understand that they are going to determine your destiny. You don't understand the power of thoughts. We think somebody else is deciding. Nobody is deciding. You make your life or mar yourself. You are the architect of your fortune. You are the architect of your misfortune. Nobody else. If I ask you a question, who killed Ravana in Ramayana story? So you are talking in India, so most of you know Ramayana and all that. So I don't have to get into the story. If the question is asked in your school, who killed Ravana? What will be your answer? Lord Rama. You are right. As per the story, Lord Rama killed Ravana. But Lord Rama is not a serial killer, going on looking for people to go and kill. So, Ravana killed himself through his actions. So in Vedanta we say, you are punished or rewarded by your actions, not for your actions. Please understand this. You are punished or rewarded by your actions, not for your actions. There is nobody sitting up the clouds determining your destiny. Your thoughts are determining your destiny. There this resultant force that we studied when we were in school. I think we have that diagram, you can show it. So, that resultant force, there is an object kept at point O, and equal force of 50 Newton in x direction, 50 Newton in y direction. The object will move in z direction. That is called resultant. There is no force acting in the z direction, yet the object will move in the direction. Why? Resultant. थोड़ा अच्छा सोच विचार भी है, थोड़ा बहुत नेगेटिव सोच विचार भी है, सारा मिक्स करके खिचड़ी मिलता है हमारा लाइफ में, वही चल रहा है. सो हमारा पूरा लाइफ खिचड़ी हो जाता है. You understand? And then we say, अरे यार क्यों इतना खिचड़ी हो रहा है? सुबह से शाम तक I'm sitting mostly in the puja room, right? Only at night I listen to some gossip. But then why this khichdi? You understand? See, today especially, our time is spent mostly in the social media. Here also I think most of the people have come through social media. Right? So social media, we also have to do what to do. We have to use it positively. So in the social media, especially YouTube, and why? Free. See, this is another problem. Right? Free. Buy one, get two free. Buy one, get two free means you are getting 10 times education. You don't understand that. The whole thing is, we are very fond of this 4-letter word, S-A-L-E. Sale. Buy one, get two free. Please understand, there is nothing free. You just made to believe that it's free. Nothing comes in free. You have to pay before or later. Somewhere you got to pay in some form or the other. There is nothing free. So positive living, a person who lives positively will not look for things free. Please understand. We'll talk about it more when we do Gita, because there are verses there talking about it in the 3rd chapter. So I'm not going to spend more time on it. So therefore, the thoughts, our thoughts, according to our thoughts, our life will be. In Tamil they say, Ennam pol varkai. Means as per your thoughts, your life. Your thoughts determine your destiny. You can see it on the board. From thoughts, words come. From words, actions. And when you continuously do the same action, it becomes habit. Isn't it? You ask somebody, how did you start smoking? It's become adat now. Habit. How did you start smoking? When I was in college, some friends said this, that. So I also said, it's nice, heroism. Then I started. It started as it. Then it becomes bit. Then it becomes habit, and then it becomes habit. So actions done continuously becomes habit, and habits become character, and character determines your destiny. So who is controlling your destiny? Your thoughts. How much time are you spending about dealing with your thoughts? See, every day you carry a handbag with you, isn't it? So you buy something and the bills and everything, you put it there, right? Seldom you sit and check what are the things that are there in the bag which I should continue taking. Some of the things maybe should be thrown into the garbage, but time nahi, mere paas time nahi, wo dekhne ka. So extra 3 kilos I am carrying, all old bills pertaining to 10 years before. And one day you got fed up, and then you turn your bag upside down and find out many bills have to be thrown into the dustbin. You throw them, then your bag becomes light. Similarly, we need to get into our thoughts and recast our thinking. Please understand. Positive living encompasses 3 R's. 3 R's. Read, reflect, recast your thinking. Please remember this. Positive living encompasses 3 R's. What are the 3 R's? Read the scriptures. Not just read, reflect on them. And then recast your thinking, because your thinking determines your destiny. You understand? So you must understand the power of thought. Then you are taking your life on your hands, not giving it in somebody else's hands. That is what you are supposed to do. So therefore, you must understand the power of thoughts. So therefore, sigma thoughts, sigma choices is equal to our destiny. Sigma, you understand in maths? Sum total. Sigma choices is equal to destiny. Sigma action is equal to destiny. Sigma thoughts is equal to Destiny. Please understand that. So if you wish to change your destiny, you got to change your thoughts, your actions. You got to look into your choices. First of all, are you living life based on choices or by chance? That is something that you need to seriously think. And therefore, if you understand this, then you will give the importance of learning and living. So Shastra not only gives you wisdom to act, it also purifies your emotions. See, most important thing in life is attitude. You know, this attitude you cannot get from just scholastic education. In fact, many corporates, when they invite us to give a talk there, one of the things they say is, sir, we bring the best minds to our organization, right? We go to the best of education centers and get the best minds to our organization. But then the problem where we face is in the attitude. How to bring that sense of ownership in them. So we want you to give lectures or training in such a way that they are able to develop positive attitude. You understand? So the most important thing in positive living is attitude of gratitude. From the time we are born till the time we die, we are constantly taking from the nature, from everywhere. Isn't it? You're taking oxygen, you're getting rain, everything you're constantly taking. So there is time to repay. When you have the gratefulness, you will feel complete, paripurna. Understand? W-H-O-L-E, whole, not H-O-L-E. You understand? So when you feel complete, paripurna, then with fullness you act, you'll be able to become more productive. See, if I give you A4 sheets to everybody, plain A4 sheets. On one side I say, please write on the top for all the things that I need to be grateful for. And list down all the things that you need to be grateful for. You think that A4 sheet will be enough? If you seriously sit and think and write, it says many things for which I need to be grateful for. First and foremost, for the hair. You go and ask the fellows who lost hair. You understand? And they're somehow trying to put that hair back. It costs a lot of money. Teeth falls. I just replaced one tooth. Charge a lot of money. You know, implanting teeth will cost you a lot of money. Right? You have 32. Each teeth is approximately 50,000 rupees. So you have 32 into 50,000. How much is it? More than 10 lakhs. You are a millionaire already. So every time you laugh, you are exposing millions. Be careful. So you are rich. You should feel rich. But that's not how you feel rich now. You have enough hair in your head. You are rich. You have enough teeth. You are rich. Is that how you feel? You don't feel that way. You are all the time thinking about what you don't have. On the other side of the A4 sheet, on the top you write all the things that I don't have and I should complain. That sheet also will not be enough. So where is your attention? Where is your focus? On the things that you do not have, not on the things that you have in life. So you got to move from have not to haves. That is positive living. For that you need to understand. Shastras make you understand. Understand? Shastras will help you. You develop the positive attitude, right attitude. You develop the attitude of gratitude. That is very important. That attitude of gratitude is very, very important. How many of us have that? Understand? The thankfulness. That will only make your life full. You are now going on complaining. As a result, your life will be constantly lacking something or the other. See, please understand. What you write, that is what will come out as the result. In your subconscious, you are writing constantly that nahi hai, nahi hai, nahi hai. So, आपका life will be nahi hai. Nahi hai, born on so-and-so date. Nahi hai, died on so-and-so date. Mr. Nahi or Miss Nahi, Mrs. Nahi. That is what we are. Constantly, you know, in South India where I come from, there's a particular community which usually has a lot of grocery shops. And nowadays people go to these supermarkets. Those days, you know, Kirana, Dukan, small ones. So a particular community called Nada community usually, they used to have those kind of shops in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. And in those days, you know, we buy on when there is need. Not like when you go to supermarket, you store it in advance for 3 months, because buy one get 10 free. Na? So 10 months ke liye stock kar dete. So a kamra is not enough, so we need 10 kamras, and that to big size. That's how we are going. So it's to buy on need. So when you go to ask, something, they will not say no. In their mouth, no will not come. So if you are asking for a particular brand of soap, they will not say no. They will say, that brand is there. I learned this from when I was a child, small. So they will not say illa. In Tamil, illa means no. Nahi. They won't say nahi hai. Right, oh, nahi hai. They won't say that oh nahi hai. Ye hai. So you got to shift your attention from have-nots to have. See, in F1 race, when they are competing in the race, if some other racer bangs on their car and their car is going towards the side wall, their eyes are fixed on that wall. So what happens apparently is their hands are also turning the steering wheel towards that wall. So they are trained to look the other way. So when they look the other way, the steering turns the other way, they can escape. Are you with me? So we need to consciously practice this on a daily basis. You start writing all the things that you have and you need to be grateful for. Please develop this. Literally I would say, even if it means you are spending some 5 minutes every day, write down, especially during night and early morning, sit and look at it. Because why I am saying late night before going to bed and early morning, because that's the time you are closest to your subconscious. Your subconscious should become full. You understand? When there is fullness, you are writing fullness, there will be fullness in your life. Every day you are going on complaining, ye tik nahi hai, wo tik nahi hai. Aisa hi hoga. You don't understand that your thoughts are creating your environment, destiny. When the thoughts have changed, the destiny changes. Please understand this. When you were young, your thoughts were different. So the t-shirt was having snakes and ladder and all that. Now your thoughts have changed. So the different t-shirts you choose. The environment you choose is also different. Isn't it? As per your thoughts. So therefore, it's extremely important to develop the attitude of gratitude. That is prayer actually. Prayer is saying thanks, not begging, give me this, give me that, I am lacking this. It's turned into that today, unfortunately. You understand? So therefore, you need to develop the attitude of gratitude. And when the fire of knowledge heats up your head, what happens is, your heart expands in love. Your heart starts identifying with larger circle. Are you with me? Today you are only identifying with yourself. Swami Ramtirtha says, your home should be the center and not the boundary of your affections. But we can't think anything more than our home. Even if you want to come to the lecture hall, you will start looking. Google map. हमारा घर से lecture hall कितना दूर है? आसपास में होगा, I will definitely go. So you are creating there also. Your home is become the boundary of your affections. So Ramtirtha says, your home should be the center. Don't neglect it. You can't neglect it, you should not. So your home should be the center of your affections, not the boundary. So when you read the scriptures, the knowledge will expand your heart. You will develop love. The opposite of love is attachment. There's a difference between love and attachment. A lot of people don't understand the difference. They take attachment to be love. Attachment is what? You can see it on the board. Attachment is love polluted by selfishness. Love plus selfishness is equal to attachment. And attachment minus selfishness. When the selfishness is removed, which is what the knowledge does. Knowledge will not take away your action. All of the people are so worried. Arey Baba, all these fellows are sitting in white and white. They have renounced. Some people ask me, were you working before? I said, this is not work, what I am doing. What do you mean by, were you working before? When did you resign? Oh, such a young age you resigned. Retired life. And I don't want to listen to this also, because you will also propel me to become a retired person. No. Knowledge of Vedanta does not take away your actions. Knowledge only takes away all the unnecessary things. Somebody asked from Vivekananda, what did you gain from the scriptures. He said, I don't know what all I gained from the scriptures, but I know what all I lost. I lost Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, Bhaya. Understand? I lost all this delusion, anger, fear, jealousy, greed. All that I lost. So all the negativities will be removed. When the light enters the room, the negativity leaves. So positive living, that's why I said, you got to bring in light in your life by spending some time on a daily basis gaining this knowledge. And when you gain this knowledge, you develop this attitude of gratitude, you develop love, you start identifying with a larger circle. When you encompass the world with love, what in turn you get is also love. Please understand, world is a mirror. If you write completeness, it will reflect completeness. If you write love, it will reflect love. If you write hatred, you will get hatred. If you write incomplete, your life will be incomplete. This is what you need to understand. So what you are writing in your subconscious is extremely important. So when you go to bed, that's why they say, read certain stories of Ramayana, Mahabharata, something positive, not negative stuff. Because you are loading your subconscious with negative. Because just about the time you are going to bed, your conscious mind is slowly shutting down. And you are closer to your subconscious. Similarly, early in the morning. But 10:30 only, that very important serial is there in the TV. Full of negativity. Many of them. Not all, maybe. Right? He is planning to kill her and she is planning to kill all that thing, and then the night you are worried, my God, who is going to come into my house to kill me? You are dreaming like that. And your life is turning like that. So therefore, the closer to the sleep, positive, waking up, closer to the waking up, positive, then your whole life it will become more and more positive. So therefore, you need to understand and develop more and more love in your own interest. For your own interest. Then when your heart expands in love, then your hand extends in service. Isn't it? You will become a giver. So everything will be a give, not a taking. You will be functioning in the spirit of service and sacrifice. But the problem in life is, there are two enemies within. They won't allow us to live positively. Like Kamsa and Chanura were destroying Mathura. You know, Kamsa and Chanura were destroying Mathura. Mathura means sweet land, peaceful land, which is our personality. Such a peaceful personality is now become so agitated and destructive and destroyed. Why? Because the Kamsa and Chanura are ruling it. Who are the Kamsa and Chanura? Mind and ego. Desire propel the living. Mind means what? Egocentric desires. It's there on the board. Desire, centric living, you know. Egocentric desires. All the time you are functioning. And ego means egoistic attitude. I am the doer. I alone do everything. See, even here, there's a team of people who have come. They have organized this. So many people have put in the effort to get this going. It's not just me. You understand? Though I may be the speaker here, but it's not just me. There are so many people who have worked for it. So, but ego would like to be the dead body in the house where somebody is dead, because everybody's attention is on it. Isn't it? That's how the ego thinks. This egoistic attitude and egocentric desires, they are ruining our life. So therefore, we need to control these two by gaining the knowledge and strengthening the intellect. There's a book Swamiji has written called The Fall of the Human Intellect, where he discusses about what is intellect, how it has fallen, how to resurrect that fallen intellect. Nobody understands the importance of it. So therefore, if you want to do all these things, and if you understand the power of thoughts and all that, then you need to understand the importance of satsang. Satsang means what? Good company at all levels. Satsang doesn't mean just being in bhajans or prayer room. Satsang means being in good company. There is this text called Bhajagovindam by Adi Shankara. There's a beautiful shloka in Bhajagovindam, shloka number 9. He says, Satsangatve nissangatvam, nissangatve nirmohatvam, Nirmohatve Nischala Tattvam, Nischala Tattve Jivan Mukti. From good company. Satsang means good company. People, what books you read, what thoughts you entertain, all has to be good. And then he says, from the good company, Satsangatve Nisangatvam, detachment comes, the ability to pull back. Nisangatve Nirmohatvam, all the delusions will go. Nirmohatve Nishalatattvam, we become established in the knowledge, Tattva, essence. Nishalatattve Jivan Mukti, you will achieve that higher goal. So therefore everything starts with Satsang, good company. See, in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, which we are going to do day after tomorrow onwards for 5 days, there is this shloka where he says how this enemy enters. You know how this enemy enters, goes and finally corrupts the wisdom, the virus? How does the virus enter? When the corona happened, there are close your mouth and nose. You understand? Everybody came with the mask. So that is how it will enter. Be careful. Isn't it? So how the virus, you know what is virus? What is the expansion of the term virus in computer language? Vital information resource under siege. Vital information resource under siege. When the virus comes, what happens? Your computer stops functioning because it's taken over all the data. Like ransomware and all that. Then they say, you got to give us this money, that money, they threaten you. You release that, then they remove all the virus, then you can get into the data. So the wisdom is robbed. How does it enter? He says, it's there, you can put it up on the board. He says, it enters through the senses first. I see. S-A-L-E, the word. It goes in to me. Right? Everything starts with perception. Isn't it? So he says the senses, mind and intellect are said to be its seat. What he means is, through the senses it comes first. Then it goes and corrupts the mind. Then it goes and corrupts the intellect. That's what he says. The senses, mind and intellect are said to be its seat, wherein wisdom, through these it deludes the embodied. You are completely taken over by your desires. You get completely distracted from the goal. Let's say for example you have a desire to please somebody. So what happens? You won't say no. So then what? In pleasing them, 3-4 days of your labor they have taken. And nicely spoke very nicely to you. You have weakness for flattery. So they spoke, Acha beta, ye karna na. Then you did it for them. 3 days of your energy you've given it for them. I'm not saying you should not give. Like we said, we should do what is good for them. Not make them lazy and do for them. That is not good. That is not correct at all. So what is happening is, it comes through the senses, then it goes to the mind, then it goes intellect, it corrupts, then it corrupts the wisdom. Then buddhi nasha, the intellect is gone, everything is gone. So when you understand this, then you develop self-control. You have sense control, mind control with the intellect. That is called positive living. What is sense control? Sense control is not sense denial. Sense control simply means lending purpose to your senses. If I am seeing something, is it going to help me to get to the goal? Somebody came to Lord Buddha and said, I have something to say, I want to say about this. He said, wait. You want to say this now? Is it something that is truth? No. Is it something beneficial? No. Is it truth, fact, beneficial? And then one more he asks. Is it something good?
Pleasing.
Is it something good, not pleasing? Is it something good? He says no. Then why talk about it? Why waste that time? You understand? So therefore, sense control is not sense denial. It is sense direction. You understand? It is sense direction. So positive living encompasses all this. So before we go, I would like to summarize all that we have done. I put it up on the board. You can see it there. What is positive living? Can you please put it up on the board? First and foremost, positive living is goal-driven and not desire-ridden. And it is powered by wisdom, knowledge, shastra, what we call as shastroktam, based on shastra. Understand? And then it enables you to choose your actions, the choice of action. And then you will be able to develop positive thoughts and you understand the power of thoughts. And then you will live in the present moment, being in the now. This is more important than just living in your mind. And then developing the positive attitude of gratitude, filling yourself with true love, and extending your arms in the spirit of service and sacrifice, and always courting good company at all levels, and then continuing with your self-controlled living, disciplined living. Understand? When discipline is taken away from our life, it becomes licentious. It is not freedom. It becomes licentious. So when you do all this, then you are leading a positive life. And in such a life which is focused living, there is power. With that we can come to the, we have come to the conclusion. Let's do a small prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti